Following program is for training purposes in TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of materials.
Their head coach, Mike Rice, was fired after a video was leaked of him abusing his players both verbally and physically. Also, athletic director Tim Pernetti was resigned from his position, and all this comes on the eve of came on the eve of the Final Four games, and tomorrow night, obviously, the championship of the Final Four. So, guys, what's your opinion on this Rutgers scandal?
Terrible, just atrocious. You can't, no matter how much you want to win, you cannot treat your players with the abuse. I can't even put it into words. It's just a complete atrocity.
That's ridiculous. Your goal as a head coach,
disgrace to the sport.
Your goal as a head coach is to make players want to play for you. Your goal as a head coach is to increase chemistry and morale. You're not going to do that by pushing, kicking, throwing basketballs at
their
players.
heads.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And an even more interesting story here, the former assistant head coach Eric Murdoch of Rutgers, he apparently went to the athletic director, Tim Pernetti, last summer. Pernetti also resigned. Murdoch apparently went to Pernetti and said, I have the videos of Mike Rice doing these terrible things, and I'm going to release them if you don't give me $950,000.
Blackmail?
Extortion. So the FBI is currently investigating the former Rutgers assistant coach for extortion. And that's just another dimension to add into a tragic thing that's happening with the head coach.
And when something like that occurs at your university, if you're the president, you need to step in. It's like the coach is bullying somebody. The president needs to be an upstander. They need to get in, figure out what's going on, and then deliver consequences. The president became a bystander, ignored it for another 6 months, and then now it's turned into this disaster where his athletic director has left.
And real quick about Eric Murdoch, his contract was actually terminated by the Rutgers University because he attended a coaching clinic that head coach Mike Rice did not want him to attend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of messy things going on here.
Yeah.
Who did what happened here? And I agree with Jason, kind of touched on this. The president of Rutgers University needs to go because he said within the first 5 minutes of watching that video, he knew Mike Rice should have been fired. Why didn't you watch that video in the summer?
Exactly. No, in December, he saw the video, and he suspended him for 3 days, fined him $50,000. But then within the first 5 minutes, you say, oh, that's got to go. So as soon as it becomes public, he fires everyone and tells people to resign. But before it becomes public, the gutless president of Rutgers University doesn't do anything about it except for a few days suspension.
And the whole other interesting part about this is, if this has gone political.
Yeah.
Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey, has weighed in on this, and that just adds a whole nother dimension because Rutgers is like their UMass here. It's their flagship state school. So that adds a whole nother dimension. He has said that he wants the president to remain. But how can you say that when this guy is supposed to be the head leader of this university? He's supposed to protect the students, create a safe environment, and you got your basketball coach whooping basketballs at other players. Yeah. How can you say that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They need to do something about that president. I'm glad that the athletic director is gone. I'm glad that the head coach is gone.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Jason, I think
Give me my water.
Yeah. Jason, I think you have a little something for us about the Final Four now.
Yeah, so Final Four, it was yesterday. We had Louisville against 9-seed Cinderella Wichita State, and if you're a Cardinal fan, until about 7 minutes, or really actually until about 5 seconds left in the game, you were on the edge of your seat. You might have even had to change the channel and watch the Bruins game, which we'll get to in a little while. Wichita State got off to an 8-0 run, and Louisville in the first 27 minutes had 4 turnovers. In the last 7 minutes, final 7 minutes of the game, they had 7 turnovers. And the issue here, Louisville was playing not to lose. They were scared of losing. They weren't concerned about winning. They were afraid of not losing. They were
They're basically
shaky.
playing comeback at this point.
Yeah, and Wichita State was playing very aggressive, and you have to give them credit. Louisville was taking bad shots, which is much accredited to the Wichita State defense for not letting them get it inside. Gorgie Jang did not have a point in this game. But Louisville did manage to win 72-68. In the other game, Michigan defeated Syracuse 61-56. Trey Burke only had 7 points on 1 for 8 shooting, but Michigan, despite that, was able to shred the Syracuse zone defense, which no one else had been able to figure out, and that was much accredited to Glenn Robinson III, who averages about 11 points per game and 5.5 rebounds per game, Mitch McGarry, 7.5 points per game and 6.3 rebounds per game, and Nick Stauskas with 11.2 points per game and about 3 rebounds per game. So that sets up Michigan, Louisville. I like the upset in this Michigan. Louisville, everyone's talked about how good their pressure defense is. Kansas plays excellent pressure defense. Michigan beat them, of course. That was by a gigantic 3-pointer by Trey Burke at the buzzer, and then they won in overtime. Florida, great defense, great pressure defense. Michigan beat them by 20, and then Syracuse, another great pressure defense, perhaps the best zone in the country. Michigan had more points in the first half than California scored in the second round against Syracuse in the entire game. So I think Michigan will be able to shred this Louisville defense. And also, I mentioned Mitch McGarry, Glenn Robinson III, and Nick Stauskas. Louisville's only big man is Gorgie Jang, and as I mentioned, he was held to only he didn't have any points. So I think just Michigan's balanced team and good guard play with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Trey Burke will be too much for the Louisville defense. All right, I'll send it over to Tom Kelly for some hockey talk.
All right. The Bruins and Canadians engaged in a rugged, bold, and tough battle for first place in the Northeast Division. Apparently, no one told the Bruins, because the Bruins just came out flat. They were so bad, and it was a miracle that they were even in the game at all. All the goals scored in this game were basically not even goals, blues. For example, the Bruins' lone goal, Johnny Boychuk shot the puck from the blue line. It bounced off Danny Paille's back and into the net.
Sounds pretty painful for Danny Paille.
Yeah.
And also the Bruins, they could have had a chance of winning because the game-winning goal, Michael Ryder's game-winning goal, came at the hands of a terrible Montreal penalty call on Milan Lucic. A cross-check that was harmless. It wasn't even a cross-check. Officials are 10 times
Tom
worse
Kelly.
than Montreal.
Tom Kelly, do you like the NHL refs? I think I forget. I forget. I forget. I'm not sure.
You
not
forget.
sure of Tom Kelly's opinion on the refs.
And also, at the end of the game, the Bruins obviously have a chance to tie the game. A minute and a half to go. Claude Julien had the Merlot line out there. Sean Thornton, Danny Paille, and Gregory Campbell in a very, let's just say, a tight situation. With the game on the line. You do not send the fourth line out there. What are you doing? And then, not to mention the Bruins power play at the end of the game. They did not, in about a minute, they did not get a single shot on goal. It was just a demoralizing performance by the Boston Bruins in Montreal.
Now, Tom, why do you think the Bruins lost this one? Was there a specific thing you can point out and say the Bruins need to fix this if they want to get to the playoffs?
Well, basically, they have the fourth seed solidified. It's all about seeding at this point.
Yeah.
But I think they cannot win the Stanley Cup again without a legitimate power play. They have to get their power play going. They have to get Jaromir Jagr going.
No, when they won the Stanley Cup back in 2011, they did not score a single power play goal in, I believe, 29 tries against the Montreal Canadiens in a 7-game series. They're the first team. They're the first team ever to win a playoff series and not score a power play goal.
Cannot do that again.
Why is that?
That was a one-time thing. You cannot. The Canadiens are a much evolved team, and now we will move on to the NHL's trade deadline. The Boston Bruins did make a splash, acquiring Dallas Stars forward Jaromir Jagr. Bruins fans may remember him from the early 90s, where he tortured the Bruins in the conference finals in 91 and 92 on their way to the Penguins' back-to-back cups. He is a really good player. He's racked up 14 goals and 12 assists in his time with the Stars this season. He was traded to the Bruins, and he got a goal. He's got the game-winning goal against New Jersey and a very lackluster performance by the Bruins again. And I think this will really bolster the Bruins' power play. This is what they needed. But on the power play side of things, it really hasn't been to where it needed to be. As I mentioned, the one power play against Montreal, a bitter disappointment. But overall, I really think this addition of Jaromir Jagr will prove invaluable to the Boston Bruins. Also, another team that made a big splash, the Columbus Blue Jackets, acquiring Marian Gaborik from the Broadway Brewers, or the New York Rangers. I just couldn't believe that move. Why would they give up Jaromir Jagr? That's just...
Because he's 41 years old.
Marian Gaborik. Never mind. No. Marian Gaborik. Why would the New York Rangers give up Marian Gaborik? I have absolutely no idea where that trade even possibly came from.
See, I like the Jagr trade for the Bruins because right now your points leader, Patrice Bergeron, he's not on the ice. He's hurt. So Jagr gives you that scoring edge. He is 41 years old, but he's a rental.
He's 41.
He's just going to be for this year. And you need something to push you over the edge. And coming into this season, the shortened season, we thought the power play was going to be a problem. We knew it was going to be a problem, and it has been a problem. It's been the Bruins' biggest problem. So, like TK said, Jagr has to figure it out and get some goals on the power play.
Yeah, with their getting Jaromir Jagr, the Bruins think they have a chance to win the Cup this year because Jagr is so old, but he still has a little bit of push left in him for that being 41 years old and still on the ice. They think they can get the Cup this year by acquiring someone that old just to get for 1 year.
All right, thanks very much, TJ. We're going to move on to the NHL outdoor game. It was announced earlier today that the 2013 Winter Classic, that was canceled because of the lockout, thanks a lot, Gary Bettman, will be rescheduled for January the 1st of 2014. It will be the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings at the Michigan Stadium. But the NHL is also experimenting with multiple outdoor games. I think that's a great idea. I remember one year they had the Winter Classic and the Heritage Classic at the same year. I think that'll be great for TV ratings.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree because if you have multiple outdoor games, then the Winter Classic isn't gonna be as special because it won't be the only one. So I don't like that idea, and it also takes the fans away from the experience because they're much farther away. We saw when the Bruins played the Flyers in, I forget which year it was, maybe 2011 at Fenway Park.
2010.
2010, thank you. So
great. Love that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but the fans could barely see. I mean, if you saw people in the Green Monster, you cannot see what was going on the ice.
But I will agree that yes, it will take away the special tradition of the game. But for TV ratings, it is a fantastic idea. But I also heard an idea from the NHL.
Yeah, it's all about TV ratings and money.
They wanted to play a game with the Los Angeles Kings.
Probably because of the Kings.
Los Angeles Kings
at Dodger Stadium.
That is a dumb idea.
No, that's a brilliant.
How's that going to work?
That is a brilliant idea.
What are we going to play, water polo?
I applaud you, Gary Bettman. First the lockout, and now this. Oh, you're just
do they not know how temperature works? Do they not know about the whole...
They just think, I don't know.
The whole thing that it's kind of sunny down there in Los Angeles?
Kind of sunny. 60 degrees is cold for them, so...
Yeah, there's a freezing temperatures, 32 degrees. I'm pretty sure the ice has to stay below that if they want to play hockey.
Say goodbye.
All right. Well, we're going to head out right now. Thanks a lot for watching. TJ Horgan, John Hand, Tom Kelly and Jason Siegel. Have a good night.